I apologize, but due to a technical issue with Zoom while we recorded this interview with Nathan Hirsch, you couldn't really see myself, but you can still see Nathan Hirsch. I hope you can still enjoy it and get the most value out of this recording. All right, welcome to another interview, and today we have Nathan Hirsch. Nathan Hirsch is a lifelong entrepreneur and currently the CEO of EcomBalance and Outsource School. Nathan is best known for co-founding FreeUp.net in 2015 with initial $5,000 investment, scaling it to $12 million in yearly revenue, and having it acquired in 2019. Today, it leads EcomBalance, an online bookkeeping service for e-commerce and digital businesses, and Outsource School, a membership teaching business owners how to hire effectively online. Nathan has appeared on 400 and plus podcasts, and believe me, guys, it was hard to book him for this one. It took us a few months, but I'm sure we all gonna really benefit from his knowledge and his story and his journey. Welcome, Nathan. How are you?
I am great. Thanks so much for having me on. It should be a fun show.
Yes. So yeah, a lot of people will, could benefit from the journey. And first of all, how are you today? Where are you talking to us from?
I am good. I'm in Denver, Colorado. It's pretty warm here. It hasn't snowed yet. I'm heading outside right after this. And it's funny, I took a little break from podcasting. So hopefully I'm not rusty, but you're the first podcast I've done in a long time, maybe a year or so. So
that's good. I mean, after 400 podcasts, it's like riding a bicycle, right? It's like, you can never.
You think so?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Tell us a little about yourself before we dive into how you came to EcomBalance, Outsource School, what you did before. I think that a lot of people, they see like success on, for Amazon sellers or success, let's say with Outsource School, but they never really know what the people went behind it, behind the scenes, what they like, what struggles and what is the entire journey they had, and they just see the success. But my mission is really to when I interview people like you or successful people that share their knowledge, is to really bring the behind the scenes, what brought them the success. And I always say that you never really compare yourself to other people because you never know what they went through. So why don't you share first of all, I know that you're very well known in the Amazon sellers community, and that's because you've been a seller. So why don't you tell us how you got into Amazon and all of that?
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I had very, very great parents. We were middle class. They always made me work for anything I wanted to buy. If I wanted to buy a PS1 at the time, I had to get a job and work for it. So I was working 40 hours a week from the time I was 15 going on. I umpired in my league in my town for the Little League. I worked at a meat factory. I worked at an Aaron's Rent-A-Center, which is like kind of like a rent-a-center type place. And then I worked at Firestone Corporation, which actually gave me a lot of experience in sales and customer service. And one thing I kind of learned from doing all these jobs is I really hated working for other people. Like, I was good at it, I could learn it, but I was miserable. And my parents always gave me the mentality to go to college, get a real job, you get benefits, you work for 30 years, you retire. That's what they did. They actually live in Colorado now. They're retired. They did a good job saving, and that was kind of their life. But I knew that at an early age, that's not what I wanted to do. So when I got to college, I started hustling. I started trying to do every possible thing to make money, which led me to buying and selling people's textbooks. And I would actually go to the dump by my house. It was called the dump, but it was kind of like this tent next to the dump that people had books and toys and all these different things. And I would go there with my scanner and I would scan them and see what I could get online. And that led me to Amazon. So my first experience on Amazon was buying books. Eventually, I realized that
what you were talking about. I'm sorry to interrupt, just so people can relate to.
Sorry, what was the question?
So what year was it? Like, did you
all of
those barcodes and stuff?
2008-ish, maybe 2007, something like that.
Okay, yeah, that's dinosaur years. Like, this is really old.
I know there was no one else doing it. There were no Facebook groups. There was no courses on selling on Amazon. And I pretty much learned from trial and error that textbooks were more profitable than regular books. And then I kind of learned that carrying around pounds and pounds of textbooks all day wasn't really sustainable. I didn't really have any place to put these textbooks. At the same time, you could only really buy them at the end of the semester, the beginning of next semester. And so that kind of led me to experiment with drop shipping. And at the time, I didn't know what drop shipping was. I kind of had an idea that, hey, if I could build some relationships with some retailers, some suppliers, some small online vendors, and sell their products for more and make the difference, that I could make money. And that's how I started a drop shipping business out of my college dorm room, selling the most random products, from like baby toys to bookshelves to I don't know, you name it, kid or baby carriages, like all sorts of random stuff that I was just drop shipping. At first, we were drop shipping from like Walmart and different online retailers like Yard Inflatables and stuff like that. But eventually we went around those around the retailers directly to the manufacturers and build relationships with them to sell their products directly. And that's kind of how my whole Amazon journey started.
Wow, that's amazing. And you had a moment where it was, you just started, and then it was like, growing and scaling, and they were like, oh, must be something here, and let's like double down on that and work. Or when this moment came?
So it's funny. I was making a good amount of money for the first time, and my parents said I should probably pay taxes. So I met with an accountant, and his first question was, when are you going to hire your first person? And I kind of shrugged them off. I'm like, why would I hire someone that's money out of my pocket? They're going to mess up the business, whatever it was. And I didn't listen to him. And I got destroyed that busy season. I was working like 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, trying to survive Black Friday. I don't think Cyber Monday was a thing back then. But I burnt myself out. I was trying to balance like schoolwork and friends and college and another job that I had at Firestone, because I hadn't quit that yet. And it was chaos. And come January, I was like, wow, that was a big mistake. I need to hire people right now. So that's when I hired my first person, got into hiring virtual assistants. And that's what eventually led me to getting really good at hiring, because I had started doing it at such a young age. And the idea of FreeUp, because I didn't really like the other marketplaces out there. I wanted something targeted for e-commerce sellers where I could put in a request for a graphic designer or a virtual assistant or whatever it was, and get someone already vetted sent to me. So as my Amazon business was growing, Amazon got more competitive. We got suspended, we got unsuspended, we lost relationships with suppliers, we got new suppliers. Amazon changed the algorithm. While that was going in circles, we kind of had this idea to start a new company, FreeUp, where we could grow our own brand, learn digital marketing, have something that wasn't relying on Amazon. And when we started FreeUp, that quickly surpassed our Amazon sales, and we decided to just focus on that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I want to talk with you more about FreeUp. But before you I assume that before you opened FreeUp, you had to go through mastering the skill of hiring. For me, it came just trial and error. I guess you had the same thing, because there was no really resource or course. Actually, there was a guy, I forgot his name, but it was, very like he was teaching an email series that I actually implemented that was really good, like automating the hiring process with emails that, when a VA would apply, they will send specific title, they will get a response back. I forgot his name, but that was really cool to me back then. I think it was 2014 or 13. I forgot when was it, but I went through all these struggles, and that you actually made a course or a platform that shows that you're going to talk about Outsource Schools, what you guys offer, that really teaching you how to not repeat those mistakes. So I'm curious about you, like how long it took you to realize like your mistakes, fix them, and come up with FreeUp.
Yeah, I mean, we spent years making bad hires that cost us time, cost us money. And like you, it was trial and error. It's like, okay, we create an interview process. We put someone through it. They didn't work out. Okay, what can we improve in the process? We put someone through the new process. They didn't work out. What can we do there? And then when you get someone that did work out, like Chiki Ann, who is one of the best virtual assistants I've ever hired. And she's actually very high up in FreeUp. She was part of the sale. We hooked her up with a lot of money.
I wanted
we
to ask if she's still with you, but I guess that it was part of the deal to keep her in FreeUp.
I wish, but we hooked her up and we still talk all the time. I was just talking to her before this. We have a great relationship. I'm actually the godfather of one of her kids in the Philippines. But she actually helped us improve on the process because finally we had found what we were looking for in a VA. We didn't know much about hiring in the Philippines. We didn't know about the culture differences or how to communicate. And she helped us, not only teaching us, but helped us really improve that interview process. And when we built FreeUp, we put her as the head of recruitment so she could just run the entire process of finding great virtual assistants for our community, for our clients.
That's smart. And before you opened FreeUp, I guess you mentioned that it was more specific to e-commerce sellers. So that was your differentiation. You know, we always talk about USP on Amazon. Like, what was your USP with FreeUp? Because if I'm not wrong, Fiverr was there too. Like, and it's more also for like online stuff. Like, you know, when you need a designer, you don't have to have him as a freelancer. You just hire him for the gig. What is the difference? How you differentiate yourself with the other platforms out there? I think that's interesting to hear.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were a marketplace just like Upwork and Fiverr. The difference is we would get thousands of applicants every week trying to offer their services in the platform, and we would vet them, and only the top 1% would get on the marketplace. And then as a client, and it was free to sign up and free to meet freelancers, you would get access to the best of the best. And we wouldn't manage them, but all the billing would be on the platform. If anything went wrong, we had great customer service. We'd make it right in every situation. And we had very Amazon specific services. So now there's a lot of Amazon agencies, right? And Amazon virtual assistants. I like to think that we were one of the first people doing that. I mean, back then we offered PPC freelancers, we offered listing freelancers, graphic design freelancers. Like, a lot of that was new. And again, just very good timing, getting in early before a lot of these other people did.
Yeah, you were definitely pioneers there, and kind of shifted how this, whole VAs companies looks like. So yeah, that's great to know someone like you. Now, a question about your Amazon business. I know we're talking about FreeUp, but at what stage it was really growing? You mentioned before the recording or here the recording that you sold 25 million total in sales. So I guess you had years where you were selling 8 figures and more, or maybe high 7 figures, doesn't really matter, but you sold big, big numbers here. What in kind of systems you had, or you had to change yourself to grow between a mindset of beginner to a mindset of hiring people and creating all these processes? I can tell that you're a person of systems and processes, which is I'm also like that. I think that you do it one time, you invest the time building a process, and you don't forget about it, but you can review it like once in a while instead of doing it again and again and again. So I'm curious to know what kind of systems and processes and your mindset of growing, and when you needed help, who you talked with, and because it was still new to a lot of people.
Yeah. So I think in our peak, we might have done like $7 million in 1 year. So we sold $25 million over like a 6 or 7 year period, depending on how you count, like the book selling at the beginning, which wasn't a big part of the business there. But yeah, I mean, it became very clear early on that you needed processes, especially for a drop shipping business. I mean, Amazon had, they still do, but I mean, we weren't doing fulfillment by Amazon. So when emails would come in, you'd have to respond to them within a certain amount of time. You had to keep a certain amount of reviews or you get kicked off. You had to ship orders in a certain amount of time. And remember, we weren't shipping the orders. We were relying on all these different manufacturers. I think at one point we were working with 300 manufacturers. So we needed systems for confirming orders as shipped and communicating with the manufacturers. We needed systems for price changes. If they increased the price or decreased the price, we would change it. For inventory, if they went out of stock, we had to change it very quickly. And this was before a lot of software was out there that automated it. We ended up building a little bit of our own software, but a lot of this was manual. And what that kind of forced us to do is hire really good people who could follow directions and also help us build and improve processes and build processes for every single thing, every single situation. If a good manufacturer of ours just came out with 10 new products, we needed a way to get that information, get it on Amazon, create the listings, and then maintain the prices afterwards, fulfill the orders, handle returns later on with the manufacturers. It was a lot of system building. And then Amazon would change like one thing and you'd have to go back and revamp the whole system. So it was definitely great practice early on. I think my first few years, because Amazon was a wild west and you could just list anything and it would sell, you kind of had that feeling of like, no one could touch me. I can just make money. I'm a 20-year-old college kid on top of the world. And by year 2 or 3, as you're growing and you're hiring people and you make bad hires that waste time, you realize, man, we need a system for every single thing, including recruitment, order fulfillment, all of that stuff.
Yeah. And when you had like issues and, you know, I'm sure that you were communicating with other sellers, but where you were like, you know, consuming the information and knowledge and when you had questions and struggles?
Yeah, so I missed that part of your question. So honestly, no, because there was no Facebook groups out there. Like I would talk to my business teachers in college because I did get my degree. My parents are teachers, so me dropping out of college wasn't going to happen. But they didn't really understand e-commerce. They didn't know Amazon. Like it was very new. They could teach me like management of people and stuff like that, but there wasn't really an e-commerce person. So here I am as someone who has a lot of Amazon experience, had success on Amazon, launching FreeUp. And I use FreeUp as a way to get to know as many people in the e-commerce space as possible by going on podcasts, connecting with Facebook group owners. We started our own podcast at some point in there that was part of the sale. And so I was kind of going into FreeUp blind, and I really built up whatever you would consider my personal brand or the FreeUp brand from scratch, because at the time, remember, I was very young when I started selling on Amazon. I was young 20. So you kind of have that mindset of scarcity where I don't want to share any secrets with other people. I don't want to talk to other sellers. They're my competition. Yeah. And you realize by the time and that you can grow a lot more with collaboration, with working with other people. And that was a big lesson I learned at FreeUp. And I wish I had learned it on the Amazon side. Maybe I'd still be selling on Amazon, or I would have moved to FBA or done other stuff there if I had done that.
Yeah, 100%. What year did you start FreeUp?
2015, 16.
Yeah. So why don't you share a little bit? I know that we have a lot of topics and things to talk about. Hopefully we can cover all of them. If not, maybe in the future you can be here a guest again. But like in how you can describe the growth and how long until the sale happened? I know that you exited this business, right?
Yeah. So we sold it in 4 years. We did $1 million in the first year, 5 million in the second, 9 million in the third, and 12 million in the fourth. We sold in November of the fourth year. So we didn't get like that December, and but we finished around 12. Now, how we started it was super interesting. So Connor and I each put in $5,000. So we had $10,000. We had a group of virtual assistants from our Amazon business that knew Amazon very well, that we had already vetted them, and we weren't using them all full time. Some of them were part-time, some of them were project-based. And that was kind of the core of the initial group of freelancers on the FreeUp platform. I started cold outreaching to sellers and podcasts and e-commerce communities and saying, hey, I've got these great group of virtual assistants. Do you want to use them through the FreeUp marketplace, which was brand new? And I'm fortunate enough, and I'm still humbled to this day, of people that gave us a shot when we were young and had no track record whatsoever, but they loved those virtual assistants. And everything was manual. We had no software. We were keeping track of hours and billing on Excel sheets. We were matching clients via email. And once that started to take off and we started getting some reoccurring billing, we took one of our developers who had built some Amazon software, Russell, who has now worked with us on Outsource School and EcomBalance. And he ended up building all the software for the FreeUp marketplace. And every year we would add more and more features where it would people could submit requests and do billing and affiliates.
And he's also
one of the
Philippines?
No, he's in the US.
Okay.
He lives in Seattle.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And one of the best decisions we made early on, and something that we do in our other business too, is create a really good affiliate program. So anyone that referred someone to FreeUp would get $50 or 50 cents every hour reoccurring for as long as someone was a client of FreeUp. And the new owners tweaked that a little bit, but that's something that really got us off the ground. I mean, by the end of FreeUp, we were paying out hundreds of thousands of dollars every year in affiliate money, but every e-commerce seller was telling other people, and it started to blow my mind a little bit. Someone would reach out to FreeUp and say, hey, I was at a conference in China and someone was talking about FreeUp, and I had never been to China. So that was cool. And we've created similar affiliate programs in Outsource School and EcomBalance, and a combination of those great VAs, clients that gave us a shot, a software that was being built by a developer we trusted, and that affiliate program, plus eventually going on podcasts, is how we really got that thing off the ground.
Yeah, amazing. The growth was also like, it's really inspiring to see how fast you grew up from really $10,000 investment to these numbers, and you were able successfully to exit. Now, I know that you mentioned that you didn't do podcasts for a while. You took a little rest after, I guess after selling FreeUp, but that's not the period we're talking, because now you were taking a rest from probably another project you worked on. But this is something that I'm personally curious about, and I'm sure many of the listeners that are about to sell their business also curious. How you deal with the day after the sale? Do you suggest to prepare ahead of time, to have a plan before you sell? Because I myself already have a plan. Okay, I'm going to sell. I'm going to take probably like a week or two off and right straight to my next project, because
I like it, a week or two.
Maybe 3 weeks. Because I really enjoy what I do. For me, it's not really work, and I guess was like that for you or for other people. I hope that they have systems and processes so it's like that, because if you don't, it could be very overwhelming. Like you said, January, you felt like you kind of overwhelmed, and you need to hire people. But let's talk about the exit the day after. How you dealt with it? What do you suggest to people that are about to exit their business?
Yeah. So, I mean, I can only speak for my situation. For my situation, we love FreeUp. We love the clients. We love the team. We love what we had built. We thought we'd be running FreeUp for the next 10 years. We really had no plans to sell FreeUp. We got approached by one of our clients, the Hoth, who owns a bunch of different businesses. And they essentially said, we're clients of FreeUp. We like FreeUp. We want to get into the freelancers space. We want to acquire a company. We don't want to build it from scratch. Would you guys be interested in talking about it? And we had built out systems to be sellable. Like the business could pretty much run without us outside of me going on podcasts and stuff, but someone else can come in with their own marketing plan and kind of replace that. But the systems, the financials, which are so important, which is kind of why we started EcomBalance, because we had incredibly clean financials that helped us sell FreeUp. Those are the things we had in place. And when they made us an offer that we thought was more than fair, it was a really tough decision. We went back and forth on it for a while. When we made the decision to sell, we took the mentality that this deal could fall through at any point. And so to continue to stay focused on FreeUp as if the company was not going to sell. And the last month that we had right before we sold was our best month all time at FreeUp. And that's because we stayed focused and we really thought that it could fall through. I mean, they're located in Tampa. I was in Florida at the time. I know you're from Florida too. So Connor flew in from Denver to Florida, and then we drove from Orlando to Tampa, and they could have pulled the deal. Like we could have walked into Tampa and they said, hey, we changed our mind. We don't want to sell it anymore. So that was kind of our mentality there. And then after we sold it, it was a little bit sad because we had to tell our team, we had to tell Chicky Ann, the virtual assistant that I told before. And we took $500,000 from the sale. We gave it to our team in the Philippines, but wow. I mean, they were still sad. Like, even though they were getting money, they enjoyed working with Connor and I. And I know getting a new boss is scary. I think from our side, we did a lot of vetting on Mark and David, the new owners, as people. We wanted to make sure that we were selling it to good people who would take care of our clients, our freelancers, and knock on wood. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job. They've honored their word. I've still stayed in touch with them. So we're very fortunate there. But after the sale, all the things running through your mind are like, is my team going to be taken care of? Am I going to miss them? Did I make a mistake? are the new owners going to take good care of them? But we also have the mentality that, hey, if we were going to sell it, we needed to have no regrets. We made the best decision we could with the information that we had at the time. And if we were going to regret selling it, we couldn't move forward. And so we had mentally kind of flipped that switch on. So after the sale, it is kind of weird because you've got money, but you've got no income. So you're almost in like this weird retirement mode. And it does turn into, what do you want to do next? Now, the other weird thing that happened is I didn't think I would see Connor for a year. I thought he would travel the world. I do some traveling, but then the pandemic hit. So we were kind of like stuck inside anyway. And at that point, it was like, all right, what do we want to do next? And we researched real estate and stocks and learning from other entrepreneurs, just reading books and podcasts and stuff like that. And some people started reaching out to us, asking us if we could teach them our hiring process, since we had just built an 8-figure business completely run by VAs. We had no US employees. And that's what kind of led us to Outsource School. So it was a combination of people reaching out in the pandemic.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, to all of you that want to hire VAs, 100% check this Outsource School, because it will save you a ton of trial and error. Some, like I said, things that I was really dealing with for years. I knew that there's something with Filipino VAs, but I just didn't know the exact way to hire. So here you have a ready-to-use formula that you can use to hire successfully or increase the chances of hiring successfully. And this is the most important thing: hire the right people. So yeah, let's talk a little about Outsource School. What we can find inside. I know that you have not just how to hire successfully VAs, but also kind of jobs that they can do for you. Podcast outreach. I'm not sure about like Amazon specific tasks, but I know you have a couple of categories or things like manage your inbox. Actually, this is something that I took. I tried it, but at the end, I realized that I still have to grow and have more inboxes in order for it to be like something I can outsource. But for now, I'm not. But you have very cool things that you can, ideas that you never thought that you could use, that they already figure out. But I will let you explain about the platform. Who is there? How many people are there? And some more info. And we also that you can share, if you can share the coupon code for people that interested and want to get discount.
Yeah, I mean, we've got hundreds of members. Outsource School at its core is our exact process for interviewing, onboarding, training, and managing virtual assistants. And we've got everything from job postings ready to go to interview questions. The exact system that we use, like we just hired a bookkeeper for EcomBalance. We put them through the exact same process that we teach at Outsource School. And it comes with a lot of other bonuses of specific tasks and specific roles, like how to hire graphic designers, video editors, how to get on podcasts with virtual assistants. Those are kind of bonuses, but the core is how to interview, onboard, train, and manage. We have a 30% off code. Now I'm forgetting what it was. I'll let you share that.
But Sourcing Monster. But we will.
Yep, Sourcing Monster.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it's Sourcing Monster. We'll put it in the description and also a link.
Cool. So yeah, if you go to Outsource School, use that coupon. We have a great community. You get in our Facebook group. You can ask Connor and I questions directly inside of that group. We've got a VA team that supports you there. And it's all about improving that hiring percentage, because if you are hiring at a 95% clip opposed to a 70% clip in terms of making good hires, that's a game changer. Your business is going to grow so much faster. And that's really what Outsource School is all about.
Yes, amazing. Yeah, definitely give it a try. Even, when I was starting my Amazon journey, because I had experience with VAs, it was really 2 or 3 months after I kind of mastered the product research and bringing products to kind of outsourcing and using VAs. So I always recommend, as long as you start to make some profits, hire first VA. It will, even if you don't or can't fill all their day, once you know that they are there, you will find tasks and you will kind of force yourself to think, okay, what else I can outsource? Definitely check it out. Again, we are not really selling anything on this channel or promoting things that you guys don't need. And this is something that you definitely need. And yeah, check it out. So Outsource School, I know so it was open since the pandemic. We're talking like 2020, end of 2019.
Yeah, I think we launched it. I think we launched it the week that the pandemic hit, so March 2020.
Okay, so it seems that it's there for years, right? But it's pretty new. So that's you did a great job with spreading the word about it.
Thank you.
So you still on that business. What are your plans for that business? Do you have any like ambitious plans, being the best resource for hiring VAs, or maybe you can share your goals with that?
Yeah, I mean, we want to be the go-to for hiring. We want to set the standard for hiring. I mean, it's really cool seeing people use our hiring process for their marketing agency, their Amazon business, their real estate business, and just having entrepreneurs come back to us and be like, hey, this is Joe, the VA we hired, and we've now promoted him to team leader, and he's helping us scale this other company. So that's really how I get fulfillment, is by hearing people who are using the processes and implementing it. I mean, we add different bonuses and stuff in there on how to hire, but at the core, we built a lot of that out. And now our goal is to grow that community. And since we sold FreeUp, we've kind of been thinking of like, hey, what market can we get into that's not hiring related, right? Like we had FreeUp, we have Outsource School. I don't think we're starting another outsourcing business anytime soon. So what is that next market? And we did some consulting with people, and as we were consulting and helping people, we kind of realized, yes, we were helping people with hiring, but we were also helping people with their finances, helping them understand their numbers, making sure they were getting the reports needed and they were getting clean, accurate income statements on time every single month. And we would spend a lot of time just helping people revamp their entire bookkeeping team and systems. And that kind of led us to EcomBalance, which is what we're really focused on now, helping entrepreneurs, helping Amazon sellers get to on-time accurate books, but really understand the numbers. And even things like, hey, you might be selling 10 products, but do you really know how much you're making per product and where you're going to be focusing your time? So that's what I'm excited about right now. The bookkeeping industry is the industry we decided to focus on, and it's been fun kind of growing a business outside of the VA space, and happy to answer any questions off of that.
Yeah. So I was working, I forgot the name of this company. We interviewed them. It's a VA company. It's like a full service to hire, like they hire the VAs and then they kind of give them to Amazon sellers, and they're kind of by their own. So I'm helping them with Amazon FBA related trainings. And one of the training was about like how to measure and how to look at numbers and what kind of reports and dashboards that I built for my business could help you understand the bigger picture, because sometimes you're so busy with the day-to-day operations, optimizing the listing, checking what's going on here or there, you don't really look at the numbers. And it's super important that you look at it from 30,000 foot view, just to understand what's going on. So yeah, definitely check it. But with EcomBalance, as an Amazon seller, that I don't have my business, I have an accountant that do the bookkeeping and all of that. But let's say I don't have, how the process works. I contact you, you plug into my Amazon business. Are you using like A2X, all these softwares that connect to QuickBooks? Maybe you can give us a little more details about the process.
Yeah, definitely. And first of all, my overall mentality on bookkeeping is, one, you shouldn't be doing it. As an entrepreneur, it's just not a good use of your time. But two, you should be reviewing your numbers every single month. It blows my mind when people are just doing it at the end of the year and then handing it over to their accountant. Yes, you should have an accountant. Yes, you should pay your taxes, but you should be doing monthly bookkeeping. And as you get bigger, there's even weekly reports that you should be looking at. And you need to know your numbers, especially if you want to sell your business. And there's even a certain trust factor there where like when we had the initial call with Mark and David and they were asking us questions, we knew our numbers off the top of our head. And when they went and looked at it later, it matched up exactly with what they were saying. When we were going through due diligence, they had specific questions. We could get them that information very quickly. So all of that is incredibly important. So our goal is to make it as easy as possible to do the books for e-commerce sellers. Right now, we're not offering accounting services. That's something we'll do down the line. We're happy to refer a great accountant that we personally use. We don't get commissions on that, but right now we're just focusing on the bookkeeping. And what happens is you go to EcomBalance.com, you sign up, we'll reach out to you. We'll do a quick onboarding call. We'll take a look at your books now. We'll give you a monthly price, and then we'll get to work and take it off your plate and do it for you every single month. And what we do during that onboarding call is really get to know your business. And there are certain things that might apply to your business that don't apply to someone else's, and vice versa. Our goal is to create a process that makes sense for bookkeeping for your business to get you the information you need every single month, or even more frequent than that if you need it.
Yeah, definitely, guys that have messed with accounting or it doesn't work as smoothly as they want, contact Nathan here. And yeah, definitely, I think that a lot of people will enjoy this interview. We're already, I think, like 40 minutes, and I want to keep it as short as possible so people can, really enjoy listening to it and keep engaged in it. I really appreciate you coming and sharing all these, stories about all these companies that you created. And it looks like you're very passionate about what you do. And I think that's the most important thing in as an entrepreneur. You need that fire in order to move things. And a lot of people that I coach or talk with, you see it very like immediately they don't have this fire, and I think that's what really contribute to a lot of the success that you had or other entrepreneurs. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I know we will put a link to Outsource School and the coupon code, and we'll also put for EcomBalance. But other than that, is there any email or Facebook where people can reach out to you?
Yeah, feel free to connect with me, Nathan Hirsch, on any social media channel, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can check out outsourceschool.com or EcomBalance.com. It's just Nathan at EcomBalance.com. If you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to personally chat with you, see if we can help you. And yeah, really appreciate you having me on. It was a lot of fun. Hopefully I wasn't too rusty.
No. And one last thing, if people want to copy your passion and your energy, one tip that will help them do it?
I love being an entrepreneur. Like for me, it's exciting. It's fun. I've kind of created the perfect life for me where I work the hours I want to work. My schedule matches. I spend time with my family, time with my wife, my friends, my dogs, whatever it is. And for me, I don't think you ever get that perfect work-life balance, but I make sure that I'm always doing what I enjoy 100% of the time. Like if I didn't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. And that's kind of how I approach life.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very similar to you with that. It was, I think, the last few months that a lot of times it comes to my mind, wow, I'm like living the dream that I always wanted to really live. And that's amazing. And I'm very grateful for, and that's what keeps the fire and my motivation. So hopefully, you can have this as a goal, if that's your goal, to have this freedom and create, be passionate and motivated in what you do. Nathan, thank you very much again. And hopefully people will enjoy this, learn, and connect with you with the services that you offer. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now, please, my friends, do me a favor and share this video with other people that might benefit from this video. It will help me grow the channel and I will really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.